talk about what's happening with this shooting out in Colorado. Horrendous shooting. They've updated the death and injury toll. As of today, 5 killed, at least 19 injured. That's down from a reported 25 injured. One survivor was shot 7 times. And the only reason we have some, survivors, according to what I read, are the heroes, at least 2 people inside the club who stopped the gunman before the police got there, including a war vet from Iraq and Afghanistan who, it's crazy, the bravery. And it does always remind me of the Mr. Rogers, look for the helpers. When you're feeling so down about these events, just look for the helpers. The helpers are not in the mainstream media who truly, before the bodies were even cold, they jumped to, this is right-wing inspired violence. This is because of the Republicans. This is because of Trump, because of Matt Walsh and the Daily Wire folks who have been outspoken about drag queen shows for children and the mutilation of minors. And so somehow, because this is a gay club, LGBTQ, this is their fault. It's a pattern. We've seen it so many times, Clay, but it still is alarming and it's deeply immoral.
Yeah, Megyn, I think of all the things that the media covers, the one that we probably cover the worst and get the most wrong and continue to create the most antipathy out there in the general public, and certainly among the, as you said when you started, the people who are already mentally unstable, is mass shootings. So a couple of things. One, everybody is opposed to mass shootings, okay? This isn't some situation where there's one side advocating for them. And I just always want to focus on this to begin with. We should never say the names of mass shooters. I think I've also seen you tweet and talk about this as well. This is something I've been on.
This has been my policy for 15 years.
If we want to praise the people who take out the mass shooters, the heroes who show up, I think all of the energy and effort should go there. I think the number one thing that we could do to make mass shootings less common is not make these guys famous. Second part of this. We have a problem with violence in this country right now. Murder and violent crime is skyrocketing all over the country. No matter where you're listening to us or watching us right now, there probably is an incident of late that you can point to. This is symptomatic of that. And Megyn, if we eliminated every single mass shooting in America, do you know that 99% of murders would still occur? So I think this is a failure of the media. I understand why it's sensational and why everybody rushes to want to cover the mass shooting. But when we cover those mass shootings, we ignore what's happening in many cities across the country every single weekend, where there are killing fields, literally, and young kids overwhelmingly end up the victims. And I'm saying kids, defining it all the way up to, college age, 20, 22 and younger, 24 and younger. These guys are just not being stopped. And I think the real story here is this is continuing to be the fallout from the George Floyd incident, when in May of 2020, our national media, by and large, just decided that cops were evil. They needed to defund the police. There was something major wrong with the way that we protected people in this country. And unfortunately, there are tens of thousands of people that I really believe would still be alive if we were allowing police to do their jobs. But my big thing here is we can't use these mass shootings as political related issues, when even if we eliminated all of them, we'd still have 99% of the murders going on.
But if you look at the mass shootings, Clay, if you look at the mass shootings, and I agree that the media completely ignores what's happening in Baltimore, what's happening in Chicago, what's happening in Philadelphia. They don't care. They only care about these things because they can look for what they think is a political motive, or in any case, even if there's not even arguably a political motive, they can look for the guns. Get rid of the guns. It's the problem. That's the problem. And they always ignore the mental health issue. They may give it a little nod of the head, but this kid obviously had severe mental health problems. And it's coming out today that, it came out yesterday, but in 2021, he confronted his own mother with a bomb threat, threatened her with a homemade bomb, multiple weapons, and ammo. He was arrested following a long standoff with deputies, so bad that they had to evacuate the nearby homes. No explosives were found, but they were very fearful, and there were several weapons that this kid had and was considering using against his mom. Yes. CNN obtained exclusive videotape of some of that moment. You can hear the shooter ranting. This is, again, June of 2021, in this incident with his mother. Listen to this.
This is your boy. I've got the heads outside. Look at that. They got a beat on me. You see that right there? Heads got their rifles out. If they breach, I'm gonna blow it to holy hell.
Okay, so what was he mad at then? Reportedly, he was mad as his parents were going to move out of town. His grandparents were going to leave the state and move to Florida. And he was angry. I mean, this is clearly an unwell person. But listen to the way the geniuses over on the CNN morning show today were talking about this guy's grandfather and how, I mean, clearly the intimation was this may have been behind this kid's thinking.
Well, just like the investigators, we journalists are trying to piece together a profile of this suspect. Learn why he did what he did. We've learned that his grandfather is an outgoing California state assemblyman by the name of Randy Vopel. He has been assemblyman since 2016, but he recently lost his re-election bid. This is the father of the suspect's mother, Laura Vopel. Randy Vopel attracted attention when he compared the January 6th attack on the Capitol to the Revolutionary War. Here's what he said. He said, "This is Lexington and Concord. First shots fired against tyranny. Tyranny will follow in the aftermath of the Biden swear-in on January 20th. Now, he later tried to walk that back, saying he didn't condone the violence that took place that Wednesday at the Capitol. And it's not clear at this point what kind of interactions this 22-year-old suspect had with his grandfather.
Right, which is why you shouldn't be reporting on it.
Also, Megyn, this is just part and parcel of the larger context that the CNNs, the MSNBCs, the New York Times, the Washington Post bring to bear. They legitimately believe if you voted for Donald Trump, you are evil. And they believe that Donald Trump is Hitler. He is evil personified. He is the Antichrist, effectively. If they believed in the Bible, they'd call him the Antichrist. And so as you break all this down, it really is the motivating factor to so much of this coverage. And Megyn, the thing I've always said from the get-go is if there wasn't bias in media, there would be a ton of positive Donald Trump stories that ended up not being true, right? Like somebody would have said, hey, Donald Trump saved 8 kittens from drowning in the Potomac River. And then it comes out that it's not true. Every single thing in the media that has been wrong about Donald Trump for the last, 8 years has all been biased against him. If you were just incompetent, sometimes you would be biased in favor of him. And I think this is their fevered dream, Megyn. They really are convinced. I mean, and it makes sense in some, they're deranged in the way that they think. But if you thought, and they truly do, that Trump is Hitler, then anything they can do to attack Trump and anybody who voted for him is justified because they legitimately believe that he is Adolf Hitler. I really do.
Well, and on January 6th to them is as evil. I mean, that January 6th is this guy had controversial views on January 6th. Yes. That's what motivated the grandson. The grandson must have been driven by it. And what's even more egregious about the CNN clip is if you continue watching it, Caitlin Collins, who's one of the anchors, says to the reporter, well, there are reports that the grandfather hadn't been in touch with the grandson, that they were estranged, and that he hadn't spoken to him in 10 years. 10 years. So so A, yes, kudos to her for raising that, but B, no kudos to CNN for continuing to report the information in the first place. So you knew. So what you're telling us is there was no connection between them. They were estranged and they hadn't spoken in 10 years, and you still raise this? Why? There is so much to love about fall, from the cooler temperatures to the changing leaves, pumpkin spiced everything. What better way to soak up the best of this season than with a Michael Phelps Swim Spa by Master Spas? A Michael Phelps Swim Spa combines the benefits of a pool with the therapy of a hot tub. It comes in a variety of sizes to complement almost any yard, even if it's a small one. Master Spas worked with Michael Phelps to develop an at-home training and fitness solution that you can use year-round in any season, even in the winter, believe it or not. As your fall calendar fills up, a Michael Phelps Swim Spa is the perfect place to spend time together as a family. Michael Phelps Swim Spas are 100% made in the USA by Master Spas, the world's largest swim spa manufacturer. It is energy efficient. You can use it all year long, as I mentioned. Go to masterspas.com, put in the promo code MK, and that will save you $1,000 on a Michael Phelps Swim Spa or $500 on a Master Spas hot tub. Masterspas.com, promo code MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.